Good evening, everybody. How's everybody today? Good. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2015. We have a two-pronged meeting tonight. We have our village board meeting, and then following that, we have a committee of the whole meeting. So you're all welcome to stay. I don't know if you want to. From what the agenda looks like, you probably should have brought a blanket and a pillow. But anyway, I'm going to call it to order. It's 7 o'clock. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think that Coach Pingator should lead us in the pledge.
Is the microphone? Should the podium?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sherby, would you please call the roll?
Present.
Trustee Westchester is absent. Trustee Perry.
Present.
Trustee Rita.
Present.
Trustee Stecker is absent. Trustee Yorkovich.
Present.
President Bowie.
Present. We do have a quorum this evening. Thank you for everyone for coming out. We have a couple of proclamations, and I think since we have the coach, and I think all the students and team members are here, is that not correct? Why don't we do that one first, and then we'll skip down to the other ones that we have to do. So, with that, is a proclamation recognizing the 2014-2015 St. Joseph's High School boys basketball team. Whereas the Village of Westchester values the education of our community's youth, and whereas St. Joseph High School serves as a private high school serving Westchester residents as well as residents of other local communities, and whereas St. Joseph's High School varsity boys basketball team members became IHSA Class 3A boys varsity basketball team state champions on March 22nd, 2015, when they defeated El Toff Catholic High School, completing the season with a record of 29 wins and 6 losses. And whereas the village would like to recognize the athletic achievement of the students who are members of the state championship team, commend them for their dedication and hard work, and support them as they prepare themselves for their future positions as leaders of our city, state, nation, and the world. And whereas the village would like to thank Athletic Director Bruce DeSanto. Bruce, please stand up. Where are you? Here we go. Head Coach Gene Pingator. Gene, please. As well as the following coaches and managers: Coach Marlon London. Marlon. Coach Bill Riley, Westchester resident, born and raised. Coach Tom McMahon. Tom. Coach Chuck Murphy. And Coach Nick Rocco. Where's Nick? Aren't you still a student? Coach Dan Ermitage. Dan. Coach Ron White. Coach DeAndre McCamey. And manager DeWarren Gibson. Manager Jason Mendanka. Did I beat that up? I'm sorry. Manager Alex Villalobos. For their tireless support and encouragement while preparing this group of students to be better world citizens. And whereas the village president of the Village of Westchester deems it appropriate to recognize the following members of the St. Joe High School 2014-2015 boys varsity basketball team. And again, I'm sorry if I trounce on your names. Hopefully I won't. Lance Anderson, number 22. Please stand. You guys, remain standing. You guys could stand up. The coaches, you know, they got to sit down. Jordan Ash, number 23. Jalen Boyd, number 15. Joffrey Brown, number 21. Jafari Brown, number 25. Leon Davis, 34. Dexter McKnight, number 31. Nick Ratchevek, number 35. I didn't butcher that too bad. Max Ramos, number 12. Jarvis Sutton, number 20. Levon Thomas, number 33. Lynn Watson, number 30. Jesse Wilson, number 14. Did I miss anyone? Up? All right, stand up. What? And your name is, sir? And your name is?
Jordan Boyd.
Jordan Boyd. I'm sorry, we only had, oh, I'm sorry, did I say Jordan? Number 40. Did I miss you? Okay, Jordan Boyd, number 40. Sorry about that. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Village of Westchester does hereby recognize the above-mentioned members of the 2014-2015 St. Joe High School varsity boys basketball team for their outstanding athletic achievement in winning the Illinois State Championship. Proclaimed this 14th day of April 2015 by myself and certainly all the trustees that are here. You guys could have a seat for a second. There are two trustees that are absent. Trustee Nick Stecker is a firefighter in Franklin Park, was unable to attend. He is in charge this evening there, but he did want me to express his profound thanks to St. Joseph's High School. I know his father was a fond member of the team. I believe he attended there and went to all the games and was a outstanding friend to Coach Pingator. And unfortunately, Nick's father's not with us, but Nick wanted me to make mention that he's certainly looking down on St. Joseph's basketball, St. Joseph's High School, and the Village of Westchester. And Nick wanted me to utter those same words as well. Trustee Paul Gattuso unfortunately gave us a last-minute call. His wife is at Loyola having some treatment done, and he didn't think he'd be able to get back. Paul's had a stellar career in the Village of Westchester, not only as a business person, but as a trustee, mayor, and he will be leaving the board, I think, our next meeting.
Right.
I think our next meeting,
May 12th.
May 12th meeting, we'll be changing seats with Paul. He's been a fond member, certainly and a supporter of St. Joseph's High School with Mr. Angelo Luciano, who is not with us as well, but certainly doing the happy dance up in heaven. So I did want to say thank you on their behalf, although they weren't able to be here. So we have another surprise. I don't know if it is a surprise, but if the board will indulge me, if we can move item E from the consent agenda. Oh, I'm going to do that once. Same thing.
Okay.
We're going to move item E up. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 1168 entitled Honorary Streets and Title 11 entitled Vehicles and Traffic of the Westchester Municipal Code in order to designate a special street in Westchester. And I'll let everybody guess what that is. But before I do that, board members, please come down. Board members, Jan, everybody. My son Steve also is a graduate of St. Joseph's High School, so this is a proud moment for us. I don't know why we did not have a 1999 Class AA sign up in Westchester back in 1999, but hopefully we'll make up for it with this administration by adding the Class AA award that St. Joseph's won in basketball back in 1999. We're going to add this to the sign. We have some additional ones ones that also we're going to be placing at the entrances and that coming into the village, because we are proud of St. Joe's. We are any way you slice the pie, we are the Chargers. So, with that, you know what? How about we get the team maybe stand around us?
Sam, how about put them around the circle?
Okay, we'll put you guys around the circle.
A little more room. Just, you guys, like, maybe curve around that curve.
I know. We're only from graduates, so we have to.
For all the camera people, why don't we tighten up before we start snapping pictures? Will everybody get set? Jessica, why don't you let us know if we have everybody in the frame, and then we can go from there. Are we ready? Everybody in? Everybody provolone?
Guys, you can smile,
On
you
your
want.
tippy toes. Back row, tippy toes.
Tippy toes.
Back row, back row. Look tall, guys. Wait, not you behind the mayor, the three behind you. There you go. Yeah, move your head to the screen. That's a great
Don't go away. Do not go away. Stay right here. Before I make this presentation for myself and certainly the entire board and entire community, I got to say a shout out to Paul Udes. Where's Paulie? Proviso West grad. We wrestled together. Terrific wrestler. But next time I see Paulie, I got to say hello. Anyway. Wanted everybody to know where he lived, but I think everybody knows where he lives anyway. But we're going to have this on Sherwood. It'll be up on the circle there up Sherwood Avenue where you live. Hey. That's okay. This is the older American month. Well, I'll read that. I'm going to let you read that proclamation. The older American month. But this will be up. Are you kidding me? With the number of wins, the highest in IHSA history. This is the least we can do. There are only like 5 of these in the entire village. Mr. Cindy, Mr. Luciano, Mr. Zanoni, and Mr. Fred Wettinger, our former president, and you.
Some of you are alive.
At least two. At least two. So you get to drive by this, and I'm sure everybody's going to be driving by it, and in honor of the coach. The coach. This is for you. So, you know, we were going to get the banner and the sash, but we figured.
I'd like to thank Sam and the village trustees, the board, for just honoring us. I'm very proud of these young men and coaching staff. And they did a lot of good stuff this year. And Westchester's always been behind us. We got tremendous amount of support for 80 years, and I hope it continues. There's a lot of great things that will be happening at St. Joseph High School in the future. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you for this. I'll have to talk to my neighbors now. I'm a marked man. But we really appreciate it. I never expected this. I'm humbled. Honestly, the people that have streets named for me in the village, I respected and we're good friends with them, and they were just great people. And to be there is just a humbling situation for me. But thank you so much. Thanks everybody.
Cookies and coffee in that, if you'd like to. We're going to move on with our meeting, or else we'll be here tomorrow.
Thanks again.
Sure, we can send me a picture, but she didn't.
Yeah. See how big the packet was?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see it printed, Frank?
Oh, Lordy.
That's how big.
I only got the record of bills.
Thought they wanted to pull it because they were going to vote no.
Yeah, he was surprised. That was nice.
Let's open some windows, huh?
Right?
Those windows open?
I wanted to turn down the heat and then leave it on.
What's it now? 79? It was at 10%.
We got an Irish last name, but you're all Italian.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hey, whatever. He gets it right now, though. Scorchy. Yeah.
No. See, it's on.
Security room. Security.
Grandkids?
Greg, what is that funky contraption Oh, new ones?
It's getting a little warm in here. Feel quite glistening. Whew, that was nice.
Try to push people out into the lobby.
Oh, just give it a couple more minutes. Sam's still out there mingling somewhere.
He just went to go get a cup of coffee instead, so
Okay.
it looks like most people are going outside.
Yeah, they're just
stay
taking a few.
wherever.
I think it's his grandkids or something.
Okay.
Did you get a picture?
Of the group?
Did she send it to you?
Not yet.
I got lots of pictures.
You know, I just wanted to email when you did.
Oh yeah.
I guess Sherby was taking some pictures. Send me one. I don't know if she knows now. Well, how long does it take you now?
2 seconds.
Because Sherby did.
She's doing it right now.
Alrighty.
Mike's saying, you're not hot, are you?
Seems like this board pack, it looks like it's going to be here till 11 o'clock.
You okay?
Yeah. No, that was really nice.
Here, look at this.
Oh. After the rains the other day? Your yard?
Someone's yard.
Well, you know, we don't have to respond to her and say, unfortunately, Governor Rauner
I figured I wanted to say come to the meeting and ask, but I mean her pool.
Is it
I'll
a
see
rally?
what anyway. Do you want me to text you or email?
Email.
All right.
So tell her what the Green Alley grant was what?
That we're waiting to see if Governor Rauner.
Who's that from that one person?
Yeah, been awarded a Green Alley grant. However, looks like Governor Rauner may pull it through.
Okay, who's next? Older American Day. Okay.
RAU.
There's boys basketball. What did I do with Older American Day? Oh, here, I got it. It's a month.
Governor. How do you spell governor?
Governor.
Are we ready? Guys and gals? Okay. Our next item of a proclamation will be recognizing May 2015 as Older Americans Month in the village of Westchester, Cook County, Illinois. Whereas Westchester, Illinois is a community that includes 5,000 citizens aged 60 and older, and I'm one of them. Whereas the older adults in Westchester, Illinois are among the most treasured resources, united by historical experiences, strengthened by diversity, and interpreting events through varied perspectives and backgrounds to bring wisdom and insight into our community. And whereas increasing numbers of adults are reaching retirement age and remaining strong and active for as long as ever before. And whereas the older adults in Westchester, Illinois deserve recognition for the contributions they have made and will continue to make to the culture, economy, and character of our community and our nation. And whereas our community can provide that recognition and respect by improving the quality of life for older Americans, by increasing their opportunities to remain active and engaged in community life, providing individualized services and support systems to maintain the dignity, independence, and self-determination of older Americans as they age.
Sherby, you got to leave one open.
combating ageist attitudes by honoring their past, present, and future contributions. Now therefore, Village of Westchester, Illinois joins with the Federal Administration on Aging to hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 to be Older Americans Month. We also proclaim that the 14th to the 21st of the month of May be designated as Celebrating Seniors Week. We urge every citizen to take time this month to honor our older adults and the professionals, family members, and volunteers who care for many of them. Our recognition and involvement of older Americans can enrich our entire community's quality of life. Proclaimed this 14th day of April 2015 by myself and the entire Board of Trustees and staff of the Village of Westchester. Our next proclamation in recognizing April 24th, 2015 as Arbor Day in the Village of Westchester, Cook County, Illinois. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and to provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our village increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, I, Sam Puglia, President, Village of Westchester, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2015 as Arbor Day. In the Village of Westchester, we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support the efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generation. Proclaimed today, the 14th day of April 2015, by myself and the entire Board of Trustees. Now, I do believe we're going to be doing a planting at one of the schools. Carl, have we picked it out yet, where we're going?
I know the date, but I'm not sure
Okay, we will be doing it at one of the public schools in town, as we have in the past, planting of trees, and we'll get that information out for people to attend. The next item, which really wasn't on our agenda, but certainly has to be recognized, for those that may or may not know, today, April 14th, is Michael Durkin's birthday.
Happy birthday.
So with that,
Happy birthday, Mike.
All right.
we have a birthday cake
In about 10
for
2 hours.
happy birthday, Mike. And if you would all join me in singing,
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So, and many more, my friend.
I don't know who picked out the colors, but it's Illini colors, orange and blue on top.
That
so
was the goal.
very good. Thank you.
That was the goal.
We could do that. We could do that one.
And
Thank you very much.
And those that know, and too bad the students have left already, but Mike is our Olympian. See, our Olympic champion. So, another
Far
good
from
thing.
champion, yeah. Thank you.
In our eyes, you certainly are.
Thanks for not putting candles on there.
Well, we didn't want to take time to serve cake, so you get to bring that home with you.
All right. Item number 5, public comments and questions. Carl, you looks like you're the only public left. Do you have anything to say, good or bad?
Mine.
All is well. Okay. Do we have any public hearings this evening?
No, we
No?
do not.
Consent agenda. I know we want to pull item E for a separate vote. Our consent agenda is the approval of the record of bills ending 4/9/15 in the amount of $929,125.72. Okay. And approval of the minutes, March 24th of the board meeting was a handout, the committee of the whole also, executive session, and the special budget meeting of April the 6th. Approval of community development reports, of departmental monthly reports, community development, fire, police, public works. An ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus property of the village. Item E, we're going to pull out. An ordinance amending section 5102.220 entitled Number of Licenses of chapter 5.104 entitled Video Gaming. And that was the hearing that we attended today of Title 5 entitled Business Licenses and Regulations of the Westchester Municipal Code. And that's for the Betty's Bistro up at, I believe, 3066 Wolf Road in the Mariano's Plaza. An ordinance ratifying the execution of joint purchase requisition for the purchase of rock salt for the village of Westchester. Mike, do we need a number on that? Is there one?
There is
It's
not a
in the
number.
amount of 2,500 tons.
2,500 tons.
So we don't have a price on that yet, so.
Okay, and I believe it's a recommendation of the village manager that we're still working on an ordinance waiving the competitive bidding and authorizing the execution of an agreement with Sinot for tree cutting services.
I would like to ask that that be tabled
Table?
until the next meeting.
Do we need a motion or something to table?
Yes, you
Okay.
need a motion to remove that from the consent agenda, or somebody should ask for it to be removed.
Is there a motion to
So
remove
moved.
that? Frankie,
Okay, then we'll-
second?
When you vote on item E, then we'll table that item also. So-
Okay. All right. Is there a motion and a second, unless I'm hearing anything that I enumerated that needed to be pulled other than item E and the tabling of H?
So moved.
Second.
Frank, or Angelo and Frank. Motion and a second. Sherby, the roll, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Our next item will be item E, and this is the ordinance amending Chapter 11.68 for the honorary street, Title 11, Vehicles and Traffic, to designate Sherwood as Coach Pingator, Gene Pingator Way.
So
Motion.
moved.
Tommy?
Second. Second.
Okay. Celeste?
Tommy and Celeste.
Tommy and Celeste. That's what I said? Okay. Beat you to it, Frank.
Oh, do you want it?
No, it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposition, say no. I should have clued you in, I didn't, I'm sorry.
Sorry, we need a roll call on that since
Roll
it's an
call?
ordinance. so.
Okay. A roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Sorry about that, guys. And motion is second to table item number H.
So moved.
Tommy?
Second.
Angelo, Celeste ain't saying nothing anymore.
Yeah, you got it all.
Roll call.
No, just by acclamation.
All those in favor of tabling the agreement with Sinot till our next meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no. That is tabled. Item number 8, active agenda, ordinance waiving the requirements of the Village of Westchester purchasing policies and procedures, manual and ratifying the execution of a premier lease agreement with the Village and Conica Minolta. I know all of you have received the email that our main copier has well over 1 million copies and is starting to be a maintenance nightmare. So with that, I think we need a motion and a second to, I don't think we discussed this at the last cow, did we?
You need a motion to waive
waive?
committee of the whole.
Is there a motion and a second to waive the committee of the whole?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Frank and Angelo.
We need like paddles.
Roll call, please.
Like an auction.
Aye.
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 And,
Motion.
Mr. President, if you could have the minutes reflect that that was in the amount of $12,490.80
Thank you, Michael.
for purposes of the Open Meetings Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, a motion and a second to approve the lease, correct? Motion by?
No, you just did that
I
already.
thought we did it
That was
to
to
waive.
waive, right?
Okay,
Am I
I
right?
got my
We'll add it to
$12,490.80
this
on
one.
this one now, so.
Okay, we had a motion to waive and a motion to approve, so
So moved.
Angelo, second.
Second.
Celeste, thank you. The amount of $12,490.80.
$490.80.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Trustee Yorkovich,
Aye.
trustee Calcagno,
Aye.
trustee Perry,
Aye.
trustee Rita,
Aye.
president Bowie.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9, managers report.
The only thing I wanted to report tonight was that, goodness, was it last Tuesday? President Puglia, Finance Director Maureen Potempa, and I went down for a bond rating call at our financial advisor's office, Kane McKenna, with Moody's investors. And we were notified today via conference call that we have been awarded a AA2 rating. That is the rating that, that we currently hold, and we were very pleased, given the current economic situation, to keep that rating. So once we get the official report, we will be forwarding that to all the board members.
Yes, we tried to scoot ourselves up a little bit, but because we're not home rule, they told us, and they would have preferred us to have more reserves, and that was not even a guarantee that we would have had a higher rating than what we got. We do have the 3rd highest rating that's out there for Moody's, and we're happy to keep our rating as it is. I think they sent the information today, and you checked it, and everything was fine. So
Right.
it is a matter for purchase probably this evening or even tomorrow.
Well, no, the actual press release will go out tomorrow, and the bonds will be put out for electronic bid the morning of Monday, April 27th.
Okay, good.
So that'll correspond with our board meeting that evening, where we'll pass the official bond ordinance.
Great. Thank you. Anything else, Janet?
Nothing else tonight.
Nothing. Okay. Michael, you're up.
I don't have a report. I'd like to thank everybody again for the cake and for the birthday card. And Frank, you're a funny guy. Appreciate it, everybody.
You're quite welcome, Mike. Many more, too, sir. Board members report. Frankie, anything?
We did have a meeting on Monday morning, but we didn't discuss anything new.
Great. Celestine,
And nothing.
anything? Angelo?
We are meeting on Thursday, so nothing since the last meetings.
Tomas?
Cab is meeting on Thursday too, but they are planning another get out and play day, Saturday, June 20th.
And I think we had some accolades in the last newsletter for you as well, and I think we got some more this week. Is that not correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sam, if I could
Yes,
just
sir.
go back, we did have our first recycling event this past Saturday. Went very well. We moved over by the towers, if anybody doesn't know yet. Just worked out so much better there. Carl, Sam, everybody, can attest to a lot more space. Everything flowed through nicer. And we got the new company out there with the truck, so they're able to take stuff as we get it in. And, we don't have to leave so much sitting on the side, until they come and get it, so. Thought it went very well.
The only thing we have to decide on, because we did put something up on the board today, and I know we had some change of times by omission or whatever the case may be, so I think we need to discuss before the next one the appropriate times, because we ended up almost being there 4 hours.
Yeah, we had residents show up at 8
o'clock.
o'clock, thinking it started at 8. Typically, I think it's been at 9 o'clock for the last couple of years, but I think something was posted maybe 8:30, and, so a few little minor hiccups, but all in all, it did go well.
Great, thank you. And I think, did Jessica leave?
She's in the back.
Jessica?
If I'm not mistaken, this company that we have took our October spoils, or whatever you want to call them, electronics, and they were going to be sending us a check for, do you recall the amount?
Oh, nice.
$1,600 from the October go-round. So that's a very positive thing. And it's Credential Wholesalers, do I have that right? Yes. And they did a phenomenal job. They had the truck there, a couple of helpers.
And so did Jessica. She spent the entire day out there, and she kind of coordinated everybody. So, yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, so we had a great time with that. So although my back is killing me, but we're doing okay. Okay, Chief Carpino.
Okay. Testing, testing. Just a few things. A reminder of the open house that we have scheduled in May 16th, which is a Saturday. I know we had talked about a few months ago, I mentioned that the school district may entertain putting photo enforcement on their school buses because of the violations of the stop arms that we've been manually sending out notices. Well, they currently are doing a test program with 2 buses that'll be equipped with cameras on the outside and the exterior of the buses. They already have the interior for video and audio recording of students on the bus, but this is for stop arm violations. And with that sample that's going to be attached to one of their buses, or 2 of their buses, they're going to bring the bus here for the open house. So we can show the people attending the open house. The bus will be parked out here on the municipal drive, and we'll show the technology that's there. Because eventually, if the school district decides to move forward, they need the support of the village. So we're going to have to come in there one night with Rob Verber and a member of the school district and show video of the violations that are being captured with these warning notices that are being sent out. But all in all, down the road, if in fact the program is going to be of any value, we'll have to join partnerships at no cost to the village to consider, signing on board with this technology. It's like red light photo enforcement, but it's for stop arm violations. And there's not many violations, but I think the use of this technology greatly enhances our ability to identify people that are going around school buses. Right now, we're doing the best job of any town in this immediate area that's actually proactively recording information and sending out notices to people like warnings. And occasionally, as manpower allows, you have an officer on the bus. So with that, we will have the bus available with this technology at the open house. On another matter, there's some legislation, House Bill 3289, that's going to be introduced to greatly reduce the use of license plate recognition. House Bill 3289. Apparently, the ACLU doesn't like police departments gathering data on license plates that are captured throughout our tours. The sheriffs in the immediate area have signed, their concerns and passed it on to the elected officials as well as the police chief organizations, the Illinois Chiefs, and the other surrounding chiefs organizations throughout the state. They would basically say we wouldn't be able to store the data. The license plate recognition would only be able to be used for recovery of stolen cars and missing persons. And all that other information that we currently use it for driver while license suspended, people that are wanted, they think it's just an infringement on their rights. So there's some legislation being pushed forward to greatly reduce our ability to store the data. Right now, I'm sure Greg could attest that we store the data. Other police departments may call. We could run a license plate to see if that car was here 3 months ago. They're basically, I think they want to handcuff us and say at the end of the shift, the information has to be deleted out of the system, which is counterproductive to what that tool, that useful tool is for us. So I'll monitor it. Hopefully it's not going to pass. That's just one thing that's impacting law enforcement, House Bill 3289, license plate recognition. Had a staff meeting last week with all the sergeants. I do that from time to time. We have meetings every other month with the rank and file, but this specifically 3 times a year I try to meet with all the sergeants, talk about all the issues facing the police department. Currently, in the future, we talk about issues dealing with Irma, of course, with safety issues. Explain to them the state of the affairs, the financing of the village and the budget cuts, and that there may be more to come because of the governor and this LGDF funding. Further explain to them my displeasure with some of the stats that came out in this monthly's report, even though there's legislation that prohibits us from using that as a tool to gauge performance appraisal reviews. Can't use ticket totals, can't have quotas. But I told them by all means we still have to have productivity, and they understood. They're going to pass the message on to the rank and file. And I don't think anyone's purposely not doing anything. I thank them for their great efforts last year when we compared the crime stats and the arrest, and the crime was down between 14 and 13, and I asked them, to keep up the good work in 15. And I think they're all on the right page. The morale is good. They're doing a great job. They will continue to do so. Other than that, I'm only as good as the men and women that work for me, with me. So they're doing a good job making me look good. So it's not hard to lead the men and women of this police department because they're dedicated. So police work from when I started the job and the mayor started the job in the 70s, totally different. We're dinosaurs. There's not many of us left. We're dropping like flies. But the new generation of police, have to be molded in a way to you have to listen, have an open mind, critical thinking, and be able to lead the people of this new generation. And we have a mix of all different ages on this police department. I explained to them the reality that we won't be hiring a police officer, and there may be some layoffs down the road. They all understood, and it is what it is. So it was received. They brought back the message to their people. I think that's it for now. Nothing of any other importance other than we're on a mission now, as directed by the mayor, to identify some signs throughout the village. Something came up when Jessica asked about a 2-hour parking limitation on Canterbury by the library. There's no ordinance behind the signs that were there, just like there was no ordinance behind the signs I asked for on Fleet Street by the school. There was a lot of signs put up, but there was no ordinances to back them up. So as of today, I sent Frank Esposito out, and I told him you got till the end of the month. Take pictures, document whatever you find. There's signs out there that need to either be taken down, or if we want to keep them up, we need to draft the correct ordinances or add them where they're appropriate through the current ordinances to make it work, to be enforceable. So every town has that. It's not just here. It's some towns more than others. That we found one today. There was no parking here, blocking a driveway or something. It's never heard of it, but we'll have it. We'll have a whole list, probably a booklet that we'd be able to distribute, and I could have Frank come to the meeting sometime in May and address the board on all these different sign issues. So we're going to be working on that through the end of the month.
Good, thank you. And there may be some that need to stay.
Right.
There's probably some that need to conform to the traffic sign code with different heights and sizes and reflectivity. There's a whole
Agreed.
book on all that stuff that I know Robert is well versed on, that we need to do it. If we're going to enforce them, we need to enforce them right, and they have to have an ordinance and teeth behind them, or, we've been writing probably what could be construed as an improper or even illegal ticket based on no ordinance and that, and we don't want to have that happen. So great, thank you.
Okay.
James.
First and foremost, I'd like to personally extend the gratitude for my family and the Sternad family for everybody's kind thoughts and prayers for my brother-in-law Georgie, who passed away about 2 weeks ago, and President's kind words in the newsletter, and the appreciation of the flowers, and again, the thoughts and prayers of everybody through that really rough time for us. Thank you. I received last week a thank you letter from the Village of Maywood during the week of March 30th, 2015. Maywood Fire Department was called to deal with not just one, but 2 very serious incidents. However, because of the assistance from both you and the members, these incidents were handled both safely and quickly as possible. On behalf of the Village of Maywood, Chief Bronow extended his sincere appreciation. Also, if anybody saw a big bus in my parking lot pull up the other night, our first annual physicals have started. Today's shift went through. I actually was the first one to be on the bus and get a physical, and happy to say I'm healthy to be a firefighter. Can lose some weight, can't we all? But everything's
Anytime Fitness. now
everything's
open.
yeah. Everything's good. They did a very thorough physical, and we'll be doing it on all of the personnel. And at the end of the process, all I will receive is a letter saying they are fit for duty and they meet the minimum requirements of NFPA 1582, which are the standards that are set forth and recommendations that say you're a healthy firefighter and can do the job. And then lastly, tomorrow I'm been asked to attend Career Day again. I've been doing this for every year for quite a long time, and their new format, the way they do it, I think the kids actually get a lot out of it. It's more on a personal level, and I'll give a presentation to 3 groups, and they'll have the opportunity to ask questions, and it's more of a personal thing, whereas in the past, they kind of just set up in the gym, and the kids would go table to table. It was more of kind of a blow-off time. So
Middle school?
St. Joe's.
St. Joe's.
St. Joe's. The middle school is in April, is actually in May this year, the beginning of May, and I'm sure I'll be involved with that as well. So
Great.
but that's all I have.
Thank you. Maureen?
I just wanted to remind everyone that vehicle stickers need to be purchased by the end of April, May 1st. You have to have your vehicle sticker displayed. So if you have not already purchased one, please do. Remind your friends, family, everyone you know to purchase your stickers. I'm still working on the budget, and I will be talking about that later in the COW.
Great. Thank you. Gregory?
Yes, just a brief update on our debt recovery. I know everybody wants to hear those big numbers as they come in. But as of today, we've had 671 people that we've collected from and been placed into a queue, if you will. They've got 60 days, as mentioned before, they've got 60 days to contest. That total dollar figure comes to $88,874. Currently in the contest queue is $1,900. I have reviewed those people that have contested, first for verification of names. Of course, we're going to follow the proper procedure, but we're getting a head start on figuring out whether or not there was any errors in the names or any errors in potentially paid tickets. Just as a reminder, because I know people are going to eventually come to all of you at some point, if you know somebody or somebody knows somebody that knows somebody who's received one of these letters, that we're trying our hardest to make sure that all the information is correct. There are some that I've had to place into a refund queue because we've either they've paid the debt collection agency between the time the information was sent. So we're not rushing to judgment. They do have time to contest, but we are taking the steps to make sure that people are refunded properly if necessary, although that number is very, very small. I want to say there's about 5 or 6 people that have had the requirement to be refunded their money prior to actually having a hearing because the debt collection agency collected the money in the time period between that. So again, we're trying to answer all the questions that people pose on us. The first thing that comes is always whether or not they actually received a ticket in the first place, but we've been very, I've heard both Maureen, I've heard our records clerks, very compassionate with the people, taking the time to gather as much information before, so that they know why they're in the situation they're in. And of course, if anyone has any questions as this process goes along, I'm always available to answer and talk to either you personally or somebody who may talk to you about that.
And we'll refer that to Maureen and yourself, should we get those calls regarding that as well. So, great, thank you. Thanks for getting it off the ground as well. Okay, Robert.
We have a number of capital projects that are winding down and a few that are starting out. We had to postpone our final test on the emergency generator. Starting it up and running it through load testing, it would require that there's some brownouts, maybe some power spikes through the building, but that was on election day, so we decided not to risk the chance of having those electronic voting machines go down, so we postponed that test. So we'll get the manufacturer back in to do our load test in another 10 days or so. That should finalize that generator will be online. They're scheduled for last week, but had to slide that. They're regrading the south wall on the Mayfair project. We've surveyed that, and it is too grade for the majority of the part of it where they've done their excavation, so they're beginning to get the final elevations of the Mayfair pond. They still have a fair amount of dirt to move. Contractor has to be done by the end of the month. We told them there is no leniency on that date. beginning to move. He's going to start topsoil placement on those final grades, and we have been surveying. So Mayfair Phase 2 is about 75% complete, I would say. It's got to go through a permitting process. We've been clearing certain impediments in the process. We've had to make a couple minor design modifications to get the permit approvals flowing a little quicker, but nothing major. Our 2015 street program, which the board had requested, to put out approximately $1 million worth of street repair, reconstruction, and resurfacing. That's about 75% complete. We have a review set that came in yesterday, and we'll be reviewing that in-house and making some tweaks and coordination with the specifications and drawings. We expect that to go out in the next 45 days, be on the street for bids. Sunnyside Sewer Project is in the permitting phase. This most likely will not be bid this summer. There's a number of hoops to go through before we can get that permitted and out. The design is substantially underway. So once we get through the permit process, we should be able to get that project down the street. Good news is that that sewer project and the depths that they dig at, we could do that through the winter. So that is winter construction that we could go through. Gladstone Bridge is in phase 1. Still looks like funding will be available for bridge repairs. We're hoping that 1, 2, 3 years from now we're under construction and that fund still looks viable, and because it's funded through mostly the federal government fuel gas tax, the governor has not been able to sweep that account, so that's still whole for us. We have the Roosevelt Road water main replacement project out for bid. We had a pre-bid meeting on Monday. We had 4 plan pickups. 2 contractors made the pre-bid meeting, so we expect to get at least 2 bids. Our target is next week for putting the 50-50 sidewalk program, last year's program, out to bid again next week. We hope to be out for advertising next week. Had discussions with my staff about doing in-house tree trimming. They're all game for that. One snag is we received today a recall notice on our new bucket truck. So until that is resolved, until it gets fixed, we don't have a bucket truck in use. The recommendation from the Highway Traffic Safety Board was to lock out that truck until we can get it inspected to see if it needs to be repaired. That should be at no cost to us, but we can't use it until then. So,
Did they give you a timeline on that, Robert? When someone's going to come take a look at it, or when do we have to drive it, wherever it's got to go?
Yeah, that repair should be in 60 days. We tried to get it in today, but there is a discussion taking place with it. The manufacturer has they put the machine together for the retail sales person. They're located in Indiana, and we bought it from a company here in Illinois, and there's some discussion about who's going to do it and whether or not we should pay for part of it. We will inform them tomorrow that we expect to pay nothing. I did talk to the Highway Transportation Safety Board. They said you should experience no cost for this recall. But the manufacturer and the sales firm are kind of figuring out who's going to pick it up. The notice did just come out. We received it registered mail. It was required to be out Monday, Tuesday. So I think they're still trying to figure out what to do about it. But we want to get in line as quickly as possible and get the machine repaired. I did also talk to them about doing in-house repair and upgrades in the base of our poles. Discussed that with our union, 705 Teamsters. We do not have an issue working as long as we properly train them in the techniques for testing ground, putting in fuse kits, and surge arresters and all the poles that need be. I have procured a price from the manufacturer of the surge arresters if we buy in bulk. It's lower than the price I can see anywhere else. So for something less than $23, we could purchase from the manufacturer these surge arresters to go in, and our crews are willing to do the installs. That should save us roughly $35,000 over the total install package.
Beautiful.
So they were game to give them proper training how to do that and take on a new assignment. That's all I have.
Good, thank you.
Real quick,
Oh, go ahead.
are any of our larger projects still contingent upon the governor's decisions as far as, funding and all that stuff? Are we?
The biggest one out there is the Green Alley Grant, which we've got a couple of emails today. I know Robert got one, and probably the same one that I got. I wasn't sure if that one alley was one that was listed as potentially a green alley. I'm assuming it was, so I didn't know how to respond until I spoke to you, certainly. That one is on hold. All the alley improvements that we were planning to make with the monies from the Green Alley Grant are on hold. We still will be grading those and doing what we've done for the last probably eons of time as far as making them passable and trying to level out the potholes and things of that nature. But that's probably the biggest one that.
The LDGF.
The paving project, we have been awarded a grant for $700,000. We already have received our 25% down payment of $175,000. So I'm assuming then that one is in the system and should be protected, but I cannot get any verification from our grant manager at DCEO. So we're proceeding with that one, hopeful that it's not touchable. But in the budget, we did take the Green Alley Grant out of the budget,
But
assuming that one will not be awarded.
As far as LGDF funds go, we're not relying on any of that. I mean, if they do reduce our funding, that's not going to really affect any of our bigger projects. That should just, because we're going with the.
Well, that's the extra 5%
The extra
that
5,
they've
right.
been working on
Okay.
to reduce, which probably is going to be, unfortunately, some kind of service cuts.
I did see a communication from the IML, the Illinois Municipal League, that they left the LGDF alone in the
For
budget.
up
For
until
2015.
Yes,
15, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
They
going
did
forward.
take-
Believe me,
You're right.
until July comes and that thing is passed,
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend the money, so.
No, we're not. In fact, they did take 20,000 of our motor fuel tax
Right,
funds.
they said MFT would be vulnerable
So-
and the corporate, was it the corporate replacement?
Re-
Personal
Replacement
property
tax,
replacement
yeah.
tax, that is not significant to us, so.
So our larger projects are going to go on as planned. We're not.
Yes. And, and certainly with the sale of the bonds to continue some of the road projects and infrastructure repair projects and, that Janet spoke about as far as going to Moody's and that's all earmarked for specific infrastructure improvements. That's what that money has to be used for. So.
Right, so for example, don't even want to speak it out loud really, we not realized the balance of that $700,000 project. What we've budgeted for in the current year, we'll be selling $2.2 million worth of bonds, and we've only budgeted for half of that for the 2015 street improvement project. So there will be funds available
If need.
for next year, hopefully, but if we needed them to cover any grant shortfall, they would be available.
The sewer projects are being funded through a loan, and I don't think the governor looked at messing with the loan
No.
program. You gotta pay it back, so.
Right, we're just looking at
Yeah, through the
general fund revenues.
The
yeah.
state revolving.
So the water main project on Roosevelt
Is an IEPA loan.
is an
just
IEP
like-
loan? Okay.
Yeah, that is, the Sunnyside Sanitary is a piece of that. We're still working on the MWRD, and I guess we'll call that Phase 2, even though it's actually Phase 3 on Carlisle, which you spoke about, that the 75%. I received an email on that today, and I let the lady know what I know as far that it's being engineered, and we don't have a timetable as yet, which apparently we don't, of construction. Obviously, we want to get the hole dug first, get that grassed or whatever we have to do, and at least have that level of protection and the additional gallonage.
That should all be graded by the end of the month? Or just dug out?
Yeah, and topsoil on.
Topsoil on top of it.
and seeding.
Not purposely, but I've been walking past it every day. Not purposely, but I have been walking past it every day. I mean, seeing that, you know, they are, I noticed they were kind of doing something on the one grade.
Right.
So that big pile is what they're gonna, that's the topsoil they're
They
supposed
say that topsoil so that they could not have to buy it, but replace it. And there's a specification on how they have to work it. And the grading is real specific at the target elevations they need to hit. We're checking them for that. It's also our back check on how much dirt they've removed and how much storage we have. Because we're counting out every gallon that was calculated that we could hold and release. So they have to hit the mark.
So,
Good, okay. I know we did sign some papers for the Sunnyside Sewer project with different timetables that we had to send back to the IEPA this week, which we did. Hopefully, we'll have a start date before spring of 16. I mean, that's certainly our goal. But, you know, I don't want to say there's a conflict, because it's not a conflict, but the Carlisle project will cross over, under, around, through, however, the Sunnyside as well. So there's some coordination with that as well. There are different heights and depths in that, but we're going to leave that to the engineers to figure out that plan of attack. But those things are some parallel projects that may be accomplished along the same time frame, from what I'm understanding. Great, thank you. Melissa?
Good evening. I'm going to be brief because I have a lot of things on the cow. So just wanted to let everybody know we had 2 businesses that opened last month. One of them was Anytime Fitness, and they had a grand opening this past weekend. And we issued 98 permits this last month, completed 193 inspections. There was about $600,000 in construction value and about $20,000 in permit fees. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Ms. Sherby? Nothing this evening? Trustee-elect Carl Celestino.
Just want to say thank you very much to the Public Works Department that made that our new site for the electronic recycling. It was fantastic. It really made a difference. It made the day go by a lot easier, and also having that locked gate to keep people from having us. Our old site was, we started when they started showing up, and with the lock gate, they didn't start until we started, so it was a nice addition, and like I said, it really went well, and it's only going to get better and better as the months go by. And I'd like to say thank you to the whole village staff for helping organize it, and all the volunteers who came out that day made it a little bit easier for us as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'll save some of my words for the cow. It's more appropriate for that. Executive session, do we need anything? No?
Well, I
Oh.
believe Mike wanted to give a brief update on our bargaining with the patrol unit.
I can.
Or we can
Suffice
suspend
to say
it.
that we're on our way to interest arbitration with them. I don't mind saying that in public, so.
I think that's all.
Brief enough.
Yeah, so
That's enough.
other than that, the
Nothing.
Right.
No particulars.
He does.
Sounds like a plan. Question, Tommy? Do you have a question? Okay, is there a motion, a second, to adjourn the board meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Celeste, who's the second?
Second.
Angelo. All those in favor of adjourning the board meeting and going on the committee of whole say aye.
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 Any opposition say no.